What's up, my friends? So I've become known as the pallet woodworking guy. It's something I picked up just within the last couple of years. The facility that I work at has a lot of leftover junk scrap wood pallets, and they would just pile up. And originally, we grabbed some for the fire pit and for some campouts, but decided, hey, we can make stuff out of this. We've been able to make some really nice things, but one of the FAQs, frequently asked questions, is what if I don't have a lot of woodworking tools to begin with? Then how do we get from here to here? Now, it doesn't look like much. It's a very simple signpost that's going to go outside our house, and it'll have our numbers on it, but also will be attached to the pole that has the light at the end of the drive. So everybody can find the address nice and easy, and they don't have to look at the black and the silver pewter colored sign all the way on the back of the house in case things are a little grown up or that with the plants and bushes. So we're going to do a really fast walkthrough. You're not going to see all the work, obviously, but a lot of this is self-explanatory. So you've taken the time to break down some of your pallets, okay? And you've got some scrap wood like this. And then you've got some leftover pieces like, hey, I'm going to burn in the fire pit, or I'm going to just throw it away. Hang on to that stuff. You can use these half boards to make something cool and really nice like this that can accent your house. So what we did was took two boards, cleaned up the ends, cut them down so they have a little variance, gives it a little, a little bit of a look there. But we took a couple boards like this and just sanded them real nicely. You're saying, well, I don't have a sander. Well, you can go to the local hardware store, big box like Home Depot, Lowe's, or Menards, and pick up a sanding block and sandpaper. That's a nice, easy way to get it going. What I would suggest is that you pick up a multi-pack, maybe something like this. Turn around so you can see that. That happens to be a 3M one, and as you see, it's 4 wood. And this particular one came with 60 grit coarse sandpaper, and then I've got some that go to 110, 220. There's even the fine ones up to like 360, 330 and that. So you can do your finishing work with that. Again, that's there you go. That's another pack of the 100. So you put it on your block, attach it on the insides, and you do your sanding. Sand up your edges and your top so that you've got a nice area that will accept stain. The other thing I always like to do is, if you look at the sides of the boards, they're always kind of cheesed up and riffed with splinters just waiting to happen. Well, if you take your sanding block and run it on the sides, so you can kind of clean up those edges and bevel it. And me personally, I like leaving some of the old holes where they were drilled in the old pallets. It just gives it a little bit of a rustic look to it. The other thing is, you look at the hardware. Now, these were the old numbers that were on the sign. And all I did for that was I took some steel wool. Of course, the one I'm going to grab here is the extreme coarse one, which you don't want to use, but get a pack of steel wool. And I've got actually another pack over here as things go crashing to the floor. So that is the final finish. And usually this is, I call it the 4-aught or 0000. You can use 000. All that does is you're just cleaning up that some of the tarnish and that would come from having the sign and the numbers sit out in the elements and that. So I cleaned it up. I took a Sharpie With that, I've got a few different colors of those. We've got, it's like Christmas time. It's like having gold, frankincense, and myrrh. We've got gold, copper, and silver. Now, they don't have a super luster finish to them, but they do shine up really nice. It holds on to metal. But you're like, well, how do I get it to seal? You can buy sealers. You could shellac it. You could put a sealer over for the wood on the stain. But what I did was, one of my inexpensive fishing hacks, so go to the dollar store, get this wonderful LA Looks gold metal flake or gold glitter nail polish. Now we've got silver, we've got clear, we've got the silver with the metal flake and clear in it. This particular one, we had the bronze numbers on there, so we went ahead and cleaned it up, applied that on there, and you can see a little bit of bling going on. What that helps to do too, ladies will know this, nail polish is waterproof. It's fairly chip resistant, and that should hold up for a little bit longer than just putting it on there with the fresh paint. So I'm trying to add some miles onto my fix. But moving on, you're like, how did you get to this black finish? So we sanded some very blonde boards, okay? We took them from this, a little dirty and stained. The ones I started with weren't actually too bad, but more along the lines of this. So we sanded them really smooth, took out all the, most of that top grain and stuff. And then we went ahead, got the old socks with the holes. There is life after death for those. And we got some of this Minwax wood finish. This is the Ebony 2718 that my neighbor gave me. And I always wonder, what am I going to use that for? An ebony dark stain on wood. Boom. Out in front of the house, gives it a nice contrast so you can see it when you're looking for the house. So we took 2 of them. Now those scrap pieces we were talking about, you're like, what do you do with those? Very easy here. So we cut 3 pieces for the back. We got bottom supports, a middle, and then the top. So that'll reinforce it so it doesn't have any play or any give there. We stained it back and forth, so in case you're walking to and from it, it's still got a nice universal look. But back to the power tools. You say, well, I don't have a lot of power tools. I don't have sanders. I don't have big drills and that. I would ask you, if you don't have a drill like this with the small, that's a 3mm bit, cordless screw guns, can you pick up a $20 or $30 inexpensive one like, it's Black & Decker pivot? I like it around the house. It doesn't have a lot of oomph, but what it does have is it folds or pivots, and on the sides here it'll hold your bits in place, so you can use that. And it's got different settings for drill and putting screws in. And if you're working underneath the sink or something, it's got a light. It's got the amber light that shines for you. So if you got this baby here, you can pick up an inexpensive countersink like that. And what that's going to do is, as you drill your holes for your screws, I always pre-drill them, because you look at it, you look at the wood we're working with here, typically thin pine, not very strong. If you can get away with it, in some of the spots I like to reuse the old nail holes and just clean them up. And even if you got some boards where they're really torched, because when you pulled your pallet apart, you've got big splits and cracks towards the end. A lot of times the nail holes will pull out here and those will crack and fray. Center of the board will be the same. Well, you save those for pieces like this. So when we put it together, use just regular wood screws, countersunk the holes, and drilled those down inside here. So in different spots, as you can see. Then to hang it from the pole, we've got a couple of couple spots that were drilled out before where the numbers were. So what I did was I took a couple of these wonderful wall anchors, like such, put them in the pole. One already has a hook on it. The other one, we're going to put a hook inside it like this to make it hold to it. And on the back here, we had this laying around. I mean, this is junk scrap. I'm like, what am I ever going to use it for? Here we go. It's got the hook on the back. We used 2 brass wood screws, put it on the back here, so that's nice and tight. So I came to this other guy. I had to fabricate something. And you're like, well, I don't know how to fabricate. Yes, you do. Needle nose pliers. And if you got some hanging lights, especially like shop lights for the garage or workshop area, they come with those little S hooks. As you can see, that used to be an S hook. So we bent down both the front side and underneath here with 2 pairs of our pliers, squeezed it together. So now that's able to accept the hook that'll go inside there. And we'll get one out just so you have a visual on that. So we're going to use something that kind of blend in there. I could use antique brass as such, and that'll hook inside there from the back. You won't see it. And it'll be fairly strong, so the sign will have a little give, but not too much, because it's already going to have some give for the top. So once we go ahead and secure that, then I used a sheet metal, self-tapping sheet metal screw that's got a washer already on it. I don't have sheet metal screws. Well, you got a hardware store, you can get, I'm always a big fan of the stainless, small stainless washers. Couple of packs of wood screws, or, you know, spend the big money, the $10, and get, you know, a contractor pack with an assortment that you can use later. So once you've gone ahead and affix those on that side, you've got the mount set up now for your sign. We can put it on the house, and the finished product will look like that. Now on this particular set of boards, just because we're going for a very rustic look, that's only a single fairly heavy coat, and you can kind of see where the wood grain comes through from those blonde boards like I was talking about. Some spots are darker, but like I said, it gives it a certain, you know, certain rustic look and ambiance to it that not everybody's house has. So this has been our DIY pallet project for anybody. And you can see more wood screws on the front to put those in. Those are just gold brass. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to the next video.